the big game, Michigan in the big house takes on Ohio State, loses this one 27-9. Unfortunately, I was coerced by none other than Landon to pick the Wolverines in this one. I I had good reason, and the reason solely was the 4 game win streak. Rest in peace. Michigan had really nothing else in my mind to lure me into picking this game other than they just had been doing it up to this point. Running back injury questions. Justice Haynes was out. Gordon Marshall ends up leaving the game in the first quarter after their only big play of the game, coming off of a decent run from him. Michigan started off the game with an interception in the big run. I was like, okay, this looks good. It's happening again. And then after that, nothing. Crickets for the rest of the game.
Them being held to a field goal after that was huge for Ohio State.
6-0 was not going to get it done early in this game. Halfway through the first quarter, if they had kept going at the same pace they were going at, it still would have been a really close football game. But they went off a cliff production wise after those first 2 drives. They did not do anything. Bryce Underwood was a non factor, did nothing in the passing game, was not a contributor in the run game. I think Michigan came out with a grand total of 163 yards in this game. They had it exactly where they wanted it. A snow game in Ann Arbor, and you start off with an interception and you score on your first 2 drives. I don't know if you can draw it up better than that for Michigan. It was shaping up to be a slugfest, and then Julian Sayin just said, "Oh wait, I'm the most accurate quarterback in college football, and I have the best receivers in the sport. I'm going to throw for 3 touchdowns and 233 yards, and we're going to win the football game outright." And they just never looked back. The 35-yard touchdown on that wheel route to Jeremiah Smith was an absolute seed. They tried to call this one back for what possibly could have been a touchback. I think that some people were really arguing that this was a touchback. It looked like he kind of lost possession slash changed hands as he crossed over the pylon and out of bounds. I just don't know in what world that should be punished with giving the ball to Michigan and taking a touchdown away from Ohio State. I think the officials made the right call, even if the rule possibly favored that being a touchback. I think the rule needs to be changed if that's the case, because that would have been an awful call. I don't think Ohio State loses the game if that changes, but it definitely impacts the final score and how the game felt. So I don't like that that was called into question. Maybe the touchback ruling needs to be changed up a little bit. That's probably another conversation for another day. But big touchdown there for Jeremiah Smith, making what was probably one of his biggest plays of the season in a huge game with a lot of smack talk leading up to this. I think that probably felt really good.
This outcome really didn't surprise me too much. I know I picked Michigan to win, but if Ohio State was going to win, I figured it would be this way. I mean, they were the better team coming into this game pretty clearly, and they just showed up and played exactly like that.
I don't think either of us really thought Michigan was the better team here. It was kind of like the Texas game where there's a trend, and to steer away from the trend kind of feels, I don't know, a little bit iffy. And this was just one of those games. Michigan, up to this point, had been doing the same thing. They'd been showing up with subpar teams, putting on subpar, inconsistent performances, only to end up beating a highly favorited, highly more talented Ohio State team in a huge rivalry. So we gave the rivalry its credit. We gave Michigan its credit, and they did not deliver. So Ohio State has a huge win to finish the season and relegate Michigan to mediocrity once again. Ohio State, the undefeated #1 team in the country, staying at #1 since week 1. So I haven't had a team do that in a while.
Or no, what it was Texas, I think, and then they
Yeah,
beat
since they
Texas
beat
and took it.
Texas in week
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So I guess technically you could say week 2. Um, but Ohio
They were
State,
3, and Penn State was 2.
don't even.
Uh,
No, let's not even go there. Well, I guess we'll technically have to go there in a minute when we talk about some of our bad beats.
AP garbage.
But we were coerced by the AP poll into picking Penn State to be 10-2 or 11-1. That was not our fault. We will get to that later, but that'll wrap up Michigan Ohio State recap.